Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry B. I am the entree musician, and so are you. And this is not going to be a regular episode of the entree musician because sitting to the left of your screen is an absolute legend. He is an ultra entree musician. I'm going to introduce his name, but first, I'm going to let you know a little bit about what this gentleman has done. He is a legendary founding father of the jazz bass fusion movement, hands down, okay? Grammy nominee with his band Cab, playing with Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, Gloria Estafan, Stevie Wonder, Tony Williams, Wayne Shorter, Stanley Clarke, Jarreau, DeJohnette, Ziggy Marley. It goes on and on and on. This man has collaborated with and performed the theme song for Clint Eastwood's Oscar-winning masterpiece, The Unforgiven. Now he's editor at large of Virtuoso Bass magazine. This man here has done it all. This is none other than the one and only Mr. Bunny Brunel. Brother, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us at the Entree Musician. How are you, sir?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just fine. Thank you. I'm honored to be on your show.
We're grateful to have you. Most of us here are jazz lovers. We do have some rock lovers. We do have some funk kids and whatnot, and we are all loving the bass guitar. We really do appreciate you coming by. And I have so many questions for you. I almost don't know where to begin. But I guess I can say, because you've played such a wealth of music in many different genres, do you have a favorite genre, or is jazz just in your heart?
Well, I basically like any kind of music when it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I end up playing what we call a jazz rock fusion type of music because I was hired when I came to the States in 1978. It was to play with Chick Corea.
Yes.
Chick Corea needed somebody to replace Stanley Clarke, who was doing his own thing.
Hmm.
And he was actually touring around the world, with
Yes.
some other musicians. And the keyboard player, Patrick Moraz, was every night at the show in London, at
Ronnie Scott's, right?
Ronnie Scott in
Yeah.
London. He was there every night. I had no idea who was that guy, Patrick Moraz. The guy was nice and all that. He was there, all right, so cool, cool. And on Saturday night, he came
Hmm.
because I was playing with Tania Maria,
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing pianist, Brazilian pianist, and Andre Ciccarelli on drums.
Hmm.
She's the greatest French drummer, by the way.
Yes,
I
sir.
grew up with his family, with his father, and all of that. So in Nice, they're from Nice. So anyway, we are playing every night, and on Saturday, Patrick said, "Oh, I'm sorry, tomorrow I'm not going to be able to come because I'm going to see Chick Corea." I say, I told him, "That's a very good reason. I wish I could go." Whatever he said, yeah, but I'm going to see if I can bring him over.
Mm.
And I say, "Oh yeah, yeah, bring the whole band, all right." So he actually did came with the Chick Corea and Tom Breckline.
Oh my. Yeah.
And it's funny because when Tom Breckline listened to the thing, he was afraid he would lose his gig when he heard we heard Andre Ciccarelli. He was really worried. He's, oh my God. And I'm telling you, I understand the guy's unbelievable. We're
Yeah.
talking about one of the top. His problem, he cannot fly.
Mm.
He's afraid of, whatever. So
Hmm.
it's too bad because he would be playing with the top of the line, So anyhow, so Chick Corea came and, so we played. And at the end of the show, talk to me and all that. And I say, "Oh, yeah, I was happy to meet Chick Corea." I say, "Yeah, yeah. I'm playing, next week in Paris and all that." So I took note of that. and he was really impressed, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
so, but I took a note that he was playing in Paris.
Yes.
So what happened is just like I talked to some friend of mine, like from magazine, you know, editor and things. I said, you got to get me backstage on that show. And they did. They got me backstage. So you know, I went backstage, you know, and I was there, you know, waiting. And suddenly Chick Corea walks by, and I say, "Hi, Chick." You know, he look at me, you know, like winning, who the hell is that? He say, "Hi, I'm the bass player you met in London." He said,
Mm.
"Oh," he called his tour manager, said, take his number, is in the information. And a couple of weeks later, he actually called me, you know, to come in, there was August 1978,
Mm.
to come to LA to record, you know, the first album that I did with him, you know. I
Yes.
believe it was a Tap Step.
Yeah,
Oh,
tap
oh,
step.
Secret Agent, Secret
I
Agents,
see. Yeah, yeah.
Secret Agent. That was, you know, and so you know, like that's how I got the gig, thanks to thanks to all those people, you know, who did it, you know. That is, but you know what I mean. I'm
Yes.
mentioning that to people. I took the extra step.
Yeah.
It was not enough that Patrick Morris brought him there.
Yeah.
I went after him after that. When all the compliment he gave me, you know, I figure I better go, you know, and
Absolutely.
that's what happened. So I'm mentioning that for musicians, you know, you gotta do the extra step. You cannot just wait, you know, sitting on your butt,
That's right.
hoping that the magic, everything is gonna happen. It could, but it's always helpful if you push a little bit, try, and that's what I did. That's how I got the gig with Chick Corea. So I came play with Chick Corea. I was doing the recordings and all that, and there was one evening where Stanley Clarke was doing a show, you know, in LA, and he had that song that he plays, you know, with a piccolo bass. He needed a
Yeah.
bass player, so he asked me to play the bass.
School
So
days? Was it school days?
um, to tell you the truth, I don't remember right now
Uh-huh.
out of my head. It can't
But
come back.
but he
Anyway,
plays real high on the piccolo, so he needed you to drop the
he
bottom, huh?
needed a bass, you know. So because I met him with playing with Chick Corea and all that, so he called me, asked me to come and play the bass. I said, of course, I come. So I went into the the studio, you know, the where they were, you know, rehearsing.
Yes.
And you know, I set up my amplifier and all that, and they were playing, and I was just sitting listening. The drummer was Tony Williams.
Mm.
Okay, so I was just sitting and all that, and suddenly Stanley said, "Okay, Bunny, uh, let's play the tune. Come and play the bass." So you know, I got up. You know, I walked past the drums, and Tony Williams was looking at me with that look like, "Who the hell is that?" You know. So I didn't say anything. When I pick up the bass, you know, and I stopped playing and all that, and at the end of the tune, you know, Tony, you know, stood up from his drums and say, "Hi, my name is Tony. What is your name?" You know, I told him, "Oh, it's nice to, you know, to meet a great bass player." And
Mm.
that's how I met him, you know.
Wow.
And after that, he asked, I went on tour with him at Chick Corea. I was doing a piano duet with Herbie Hancock.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on tour with Tony Williams. So I toured for quite a while, you know,
Yes.
and all that. And then finally, I went back with Chick Corea, you know.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I left Tony Williams, you know. I told him because he wanted to do a band with me and do the whole thing, but I say I cannot just leave the guy that brought me here. So you know, I
Understood.
should have done it anyway because because few a little bit later he changed his mind and you know, start
Wow.
playing with somebody else. But anyway, that was the thing. We were going to do a Bunny Brunel, Tony Williams band, and
Mm.
I didn't do it trying to be respectful to Chick Corea.
Understood.
Now that I look at it, you know, later I said, no, I should have done that. I would have been, you know, so forget
But
it. You have
Tony
an opportunity,
Williams.
you should jump on it.
Yeah, I understand. Hindsight is 2020, but now Tony Williams and Herbie Hancock were very, very close.
Yes.
They recorded together many, many times. How did it turn out that you ended up in Herbie's band? I mean, you've toured with
Oh,
Herbie as well.
well, I met Herbie, because he heard of me and all that. And it happened also, I'm a Nichiren Shoshu Buddhist,
Mhm.
and I was a district leader, leading Buddhist meeting and all that. And it's what he does also. So I met him at several meetings, Nichiren Shoshu
Yeah.
Buddhism. And that's why I was talking to him all the time and all that. And he knew of me and all that. So I actually used him on albums. He came and play on my albums.
Yeah.
So and that's we got the connection and all that. And later on, he asked me to play. So I did the other gigs, with the at the Grammys and all that, where he was playing the piano, I played the bass and all that. And so all those people that I met a little bit. But what I'm going to say is my first ever jazz gig in America
Mhm.
was Dante's with Joe Farrell.
Oh my.
We were recording the album, Secret Agent, with Chick Corea, and Joe came to play,
Yes.
and he asked me, it was like the middle of the week. He said, "Oh, can you play Saturday for a gig?" I said, "Yeah." So that was the first ever gig in America playing jazz was with Joe Farrell.
Wow.
We're talking about an amazing saxophone player. That
Absolutely.
guy,
Absolutely.
had a story when he replaced Sonny Rollins in a big band.
Yes.
I had a friend who played trombone, was told me they called us. We were waiting, for the new saxophone player. See, so we were like sitting, and he said, that guy who came, we had like all his saxophone. He walked in with like he said you could read on his face that the confidence.
Mm.
The guy was coming in, to replace Sonny Rollins, and the guy was coming in. He had no problem whatsoever.
Wow.
So Joe Farrell coming in, they didn't know who he was. So he took his saxophone out and all that and started playing, and everybody was like, damn, he killed everybody. First gig, not only the guy can improvise over anything, but the
Yeah.
sight reading,
Mm.
because they gave him the chart. The guy just killed all the charts.
My God.
That was the same thing with Chick Corea. First take, he would read the thing, get into the solo, kill everybody. This is one of the greatest saxophone player.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
played with killer ones and all that. I'm really, but I can tell people for some reason it disappeared. America's got some kind of they have some kind of problem with people's color.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for some
Yeah.
reason, horn player, if you're not black, you're not sticking on the I mean, but I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that Joe Farrell could kill anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
And I find it so sad that you never hear about that guy anymore.
Wow.
You're gonna hear about other saxophone players that are good or whatever, but
Sure.
that guy, I'm sorry, we're talking about like a serious, contender there. And
Absolutely.
unfortunately, they don't do it. And I mention it because I want to say, because that's the truth. This is, what the hell are you talking about?
That's right.
you
That's
know,
right.
I played with the best, and it's just Joe Farrell.
Hmm.
So, but I was what's the name of the saxophone player who plays with the name who was with Jaco and all that? That's a friend of mine.
With who?
Uh, oh yeah. names, I'm a little
Yeah, yeah.
Wayne Shorter.
Oh, Wayne with Weather Report. Yeah.
That's another one.
Joe Zawinul. So Wayne is still going strong, and what
Oh
is
yeah,
he
that
like?
is
He's in his 80s.
yeah. This is an incredible one. The guy never stops. He's just like he's still like kicking ass.
Right. That's
With
right.
so I was so fortunate that I ended up playing with Wayne Shorter as well
Mm.
and all that. So I had all those great players. I definitely did pretty good with that.
Yes, you absolutely did. Now, would you tell me then, because most people don't know about life in France and Nice before you came to America. You were playing piano, right? Uh,
Well,
started
I
with piano.
started the piano when I was very young. My
Hmm.
mother got me some piano lessons and all that, and I was always banging and all that. And then I went into a special school, École Hôtelière. It's a school that teach you about hotels. Okay, they teach you everything, about washing the dishes to accounting. I could have been an accountant. I could have passed the exam at the end, but I didn't want to do that to be accountant. So you learn everything about hotels, direction, everything. So, and there was a band, they put a band together, to do some of the shows, at the,
Yeah.
and I was playing the guitar. Okay, I was playing the guitar, in the band. And one day they told me, "Oh, there is somebody who's going to play the bass. So go to that place over there and rent an acoustic bass." So I went to rent the bass and came back with the bass. And I arrived. He said, "Well, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna play. So why don't you play?" That's how I became a bass player.
Just like that.
I just pick up the bass and acoustic, and I start playing on it and all that. Then, like a week later, I rented an electric bass. I played electric bass, and then I went to the Nice Conservatory to learn how to play the bass correctly with the bow and all that.
Yeah.
And that was a 3 years course. So for the first month, I was on the first year.
Hmm.
The second month, they moved me to the second year. And the third month, they put me on the third year.
Wow.
Yeah, the teacher couldn't believe it. It was like a kicking ass. So I definitely, it was good to play the bass.
Now,
So
who were you listening to though? Who were your influences while you were progressing on in your formative work on the bass?
well, when playing the bass, the electric bass, so jazz, I was listening to some old classic and people, with a pianist and all, because I start with the piano. So I was listening to that, and then electric bass. Uh, I put a band together. I was playing in a very famous club in the south of France, very big, 2 stories and all that. And I put a band together with a horn section and all that, playing James Brown music. I hired a friend of mine's wife, was American. Her name is Shirley Bunny Foy. Shirley Bunny Foy to sing, and she came in singing the James Brown and the whole thing, all the funk stuff.
Wow.
So I had a band with like 3 horns and guitar, keyboards, and drums. It was killing.
My goodness.
That club was great. So all the time playing over there, that's what I started doing.
Yeah.
And after that, doing other gigs and things, playing with on the casinos and all that with the father of Andre Ciccarelli. His name is Shano Ciccarelli.
Hmm.
And I was doing all those, places, in casinos and things like that.
Right.
And then I moved to Paris because that's where you're supposed to go for the recording sessions.
Mm.
And I was doing recording sessions. So you go in the morning, you sign the paper to get paid.
Yeah.
Very important.
That's very important.
So you go inside with, at my Fender bass right there,
Yeah.
plug it in, there's a direct box, put headphones, and they give you a chart.
Hmm.
And there was usually they were recording drums, bass,
Yeah.
and having somebody on an acoustic guitar strumming chords to record us. They wouldn't use the guitar.
I
So I
see.
used to sit in the studio reading the charts, whatever they wrote, Boom, bam, bam, boom, dong, dong, bam, boom, 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 bam, bam, just reading the charts
Yeah.
and then going out and coming back for another session. And I did a bunch of those like that,
Wow.
So then I found a gig playing with a famous singer. His name is George Mustaki. People will know him, but actually toured all over the world with that guy, he's known, and actually played in New York, big, to the big places and all that. He would have people coming listen to him, and I played with that guy in New York, and we're talking about 1975, around those waters, okay.
Okay.
And then we even went to Canada a little bit, a gig, and so that was the first time I was playing at the Carnegie Hall, in New York.
Yes.
That's, as I said, I was way ahead of, I went to his Chick Corea was 1978.
Mm.
So anyway, so that's what I was doing, doing playing sessions. I ended up playing with that guy. I ended up being the music director. So we did many concerts and toured around the world.
My goodness.
That's what happened. So.
Now, do you have any favorite bass players, of course, who are younger than you, who are hot on the scene that you think, hey, this is a guy that I'm really into?
Well, when I came out, there was I used to listen to the bass player with James Brown and things like that. So there was not really a soloist
Hmm.
much, until you had Jaco came out,
Yeah.
and everybody was like, "Oh my God!" But I was already playing like that. I
Yes.
was already like soloing and playing fretless as well.
Yeah.
So when when I came to America, I ended up meeting him, and it was a funny meeting because I was playing with Tony Williams, in town here,
Yeah.
and he just we played and all that, and at the end, I played the electric bass and I had an electric upright bass and all that. We did a concert, and then at the end, I was walking back up to the dressing room next to Tony Williams, and I go and I see Jaco was on top of the stairs, and you could see he used to carry his bass just like that. That's why it was all beat up.
Mm.
And I say, "Oh, Jaco, you brought your bass. Why didn't you play?" And he say, I didn't need to play you." And talking to Tony, he said, "Tell him it's a compliment." He was totally pissed off. He didn't play. He didn't sit down. I pissed him off because he realized, I play fretless, I play jazz, I improvise, I actually play acoustic bass too and everything. He didn't never met anybody like me. I was the only one,
Oh my
so
goodness.
that's how I met him. So, but I took it as a compliment because I love him. It's just the guy is incredible. And
Wow.
that was my meeting with the Jaco. And at the time, you had I loved Stanley, Clarke, and
Yeah.
things. There were a few good bass players,
Hmm.
and now you have a bunch of them that came out.
Yeah.
At the time
Who
there
you
was
like today? Who do you like today? You know of somebody that you're really standing behind and going, this is my guy for 2022?
well, there's so many of them that are so good.
Mm-hmm.
You have those guys that people didn't know about, like Alain Caron,
Mm-hmm.
from Canada and all that. You got so many people.
Yes.
Jeff Berlin. This is like we're talking about serious players.
Sure.
You know, there are so many of them. On the new ones, there is some, but I don't have any special
Like
favorite
attraction
or
or
whatever. Yeah, they
yeah.
just they're just good. You have some killer. You know what it is. They had the fortune to be able to listen to people like Jaco and myself and Jeff Berlin and all that, and they come out. You know, they end up playing.
Right.
You know now, so you have a lot of people that they can really play.
Yes.
But I always tell people, don't forget that the main gig is to play the bass. You
Mm.
have to be a solid bass player.
Gotcha.
Playing the solo is one thing, but playing the bass, that's what there is a bunch of great bass players that the, the solos are just okay, but they really nail the bass down.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the good bass players.
I
I don't
understand.
want to especially mention one because there's so many of them that are so good.
Yes, I
No, it's
understand.
sure don't want to, for me, you have all those killer bass players that
Hmm.
do a killer job playing music,
Well, what
and
do you?
you have some people from other country and who came here and people start discovering, so that's like I have a name in my head thinking of Sekou Bunch.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
great bass
Oh
player.
yeah.
We're talking
Very
about,
much.
and
Very solid.
it's not the favorite or whatever. So I'm just mentioning one of those great bass players.
Sure.
So it's so many of them. You have that French guy who came out. Uh, how the name? Oh yeah, names with me.
I
I'm so,
understand completely.
so you got a few people that come and play. At the time there were some great bass player in France that never made it here because for some reason French people advertise American people, not French people. But they have great bass players. Like from my hometown, Tony Bonfils
Mm.
is one of those. That was the one of the first call on sessions in Paris.
Wow.
He's the one who got me some session that he couldn't do. He would send me. He's
Amazing.
also from the city of Nice. You
Yes,
know,
sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
and there's a bunch of them. I'm sorry the names.
Sure.
There's
No problem.
a soloist that's a very good bass player. Marc Berthaud,
Hmm.
that's a killer one. He
Wow.
doesn't speak English, doesn't want to speak English, but that's a killer bass player. Marc
Very good.
Berthaud. We used to play together. I used to go to his house. He played the acoustic bass. I played
Mhm.
the electric. I play the guitar. He'll play the electric. We switch. He's like me. He's playing, all those instruments.
Yeah.
Marc Berthaud. This is, if you can find something, this is like a killer
My goodness.
bass player, amazing bass player that was out at the same time than me at the beginning.
Hmm.
With Jaco and all that. That was another one there. That never made it out.
Sure.
But that's talking about a killer one. So
That's
Marc
true.
Berthaud. You know.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot again and then ask you this question because the bass player and the drummer usually locks up. Who's your favorite drummer to play with? Or do
Well,
you have like many
Well,
of
as
them?
I told you, you have like Andre Ciccarelli. We're talking about top of the
Hmm.
line.
Yeah.
But I had the honor to play with Tony Williams.
Yeah.
We're talking about, you know, Tony Williams.
Yes.
It
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
really get better than that.
Yes,
But
sir.
there is other people that I played with. So many.
Hmm.
I did sessions and I played with some great, like a Chad Wackerman
Oh, yeah.
that I
Yeah.
use often. That's a killer one. And
Yes.
this is another one that can sight read any kind of music. We're talking about serious sight reading,
My gosh.
and the master drummer,
Hmm.
I played a long time with Dennis Chambers.
Yes. Yes.
Doesn't read anything, whatever, not even chord changes, whatever. But
Right.
that's like we're talking about a serious drummer there.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. King of the single stroke. I mean,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
hands down.
yeah, serious. The guy is so good. So, and there is other ones. I don't want to make anybody feel bad or whatever. But
Sure.
as I
Sure.
said, I played. I was lucky
So
to play with.
tell me about forming your band CAB, CAB. Tell me about,
Okay,
your.
the idea was with the Tony McAlpine.
Mhm.
We decided to make a band together, and with on drums, we were just talking about it.
Mhm. Chad.
No, no, no. Oh, sorry, I just lose it.
It's quite all right.
We just named him. We were talking about him. We're talking about the single stroke.
Oh, Dennis Chambers.
Okay, Dennis Chambers,
Yes.
McAlpine, and myself. So I'm the one who came out. We say, oh, Chambers C, McAlpine A, and Brunel B. Cab. We're gonna call it back. I didn't know it that it was actually McAlpine with an M, not separated the Alpine. But that's where it stays. We liked it. We called it Cab.
Right.
And actually, right now, I was just recording. We're working on a new Cab with the original members.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I was just playing the bass on one of Tony's tune right now.
Very cool.
So I just stopped to talk to you.
Oh, well, I thank you. I thank you for doing that. Now, when is that slated to come out? Is that coming out this year?
Well, yeah, we'll see. Well, hopefully, it's hard to
Well,
get the drummer.
ah, understood.
He's always busy. Such a great drummer. Everybody wants to play with him. So, but
Yeah.
we recorded already like three things. We keep going at it.
Mm-hmm.
Some nice stuff.
So tell me about writing for you. When you're composing a song, what's the flow? What happens when you're just saying, hey, do you set aside time, take a week, 2 weeks, and just dedicate it to writing, or do you write on the fly, influences come, and you just drop it?
Yeah, it's all depends. Usually, I decide, oh, I'm gonna write something, and as you mentioned, I actually play piano, so I can put some chords together, and then make up the bass line or backwards. Sometimes just to come up with a nice bass line, and put the chords and add the melody and all that. So it's all depends. There is no system. It just happens the way it happens.
Understood. Well, it happened very well when you collaborated on the theme for Clint Eastwood's movie, The Unforgiven. How did that come up? What was the
Well,
story behind
what it
that?
is, he played me. He plays piano. He played me the melody that he composed. And I recorded the melody and all that, and then I did with a guitar. I played with a arpeggio with a guitar, and played the melody and all that. You can see me. There's a video when you see me in the studio
Hmm.
recording the thing with the guitar, playing the guitar,
Yeah.
and that's basically what happened. You know, that's his tune. I just putting the chords and putting the chart together.
Yeah.
That there was something to go by. That's it. Beautiful, beautiful musician, beautiful person. I mean, the,
Yes.
Clint Eastwood. I used to play at Dante's because of that gig that I had with Joe Farrell at the beginning. I could always play at Dante's.
Mm.
The guy knew me. I could go with my band and play. And when I played at Dante's, he would show up. Clint Eastwood would show up with his son and daughters.
Yes.
He would
And
sit in the room and all that. So I met him many times. I was with, and that's how I end up. He's asking me to do he wanted me to do the whole music, but the record company, the company didn't agree with that. He wanted him
ah,
oh, that was your return. You have to need somebody that everybody knows. And I almost wrote the whole music, but I got kicked out because
oh my.
of idiots, So.
Right. Well, Kyle is on the road now, playing.
Definitely. Well,
You know.
he's the one. One day he called me and said, "Oh, my son plays the bass. Wants to play the bass. Should I send him to the school?" Or I say, "Oh, no, no, no. Send it to me." So I gave him the lessons. I'm the one who taught him how to play the acoustic bass, the electric bass, and all that. Okay,
That's
and
wow.
so he's very good. He knows what to do, and
Yeah.
you know, when you have a name like Eastwood, it's easier to get. So he's touring all around the world.
Yes, he
He's
is.
all in France touring. I never can tour in France. They don't care about me because I'm French. So they are terrible. They are killer musicians. They never support them.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah, they are
interesting.
so
That's
stupid.
interesting. Now,
Yes.
what's funny though is, because I've done a couple of interviews with Ron Moss, and you may remember Ron from working
Yeah,
with
Ron is the one who used to be a Chick
Chick
Corea
Corea.
manager, and
Yeah.
he's the one managing
With
Clint.
Cal. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting that he's running both. Of course, worked so closely with Chick, and now managing Cal's career, bass player. He's a great guy too. Ron is a really nice
Yeah, he's
guy.
doing a great job with him. I mean,
He
you
is
can see him touring everywhere, you know, so it's definitely happening, you know. So
definitely.
I wish I could do the same thing, but no, you know, French people don't care about the French musicians, you know.
There's a scripture that says a prophet has no honor in his own country. So,
Yeah,
when you're from your
yeah,
hometown,
that's
nobody
what it
cares.
is.
But everybody everywhere else across the world
Yeah,
goes, give them here. It's
yeah, yeah,
okay.
I know, that's what it is.
It's pretty funny. Now, so talk about, because it seems like as we're running through these conversations, you're just names are just dropping off your lips like that. Chick Corea, Stevie Wonder, Tony Williams, Joe Farrell, but what are some of the challenges that you faced in your career that you said, well, that was a good lesson to learn right there, but it was a challenge for you?
Well, you know, with those great musicians, it's always easy because they let you be yourself. Contrarily to what I was mentioning, doing those sessions in France, you go in, you know, they write a chart and you cannot even change a note. You have to read whatever the guy wrote, and that's what it is. That's the session,
I
not for
see.
notes. And no, in America, they hire somebody because they like what he does, and they have tunes with the charts and things like that, but they let the person be himself to make it sound even better.
Yes, yes.
So because of that, I never had any trouble. You know, I just did the job, and they let me be myself, and everybody was happy with it.
That's good.
You know, so that's the quality here. You know, they're using the quality of the musician to enhance their own music,
Yeah.
and that's why American music is always fantastic.
Yes. I
You
agree with that.
know, it is.
I agree.
As I told you, I made. You have no idea. I'm on so many records in France. You would never know it's me playing. You know, playing those bass line that these people write. You know, and never let me actually make it sound better.
Yeah.
That's what they are with the arrangers. They have like a problem, ego problem. He has to play. You know, that's their thing. You know, so
Play it like it's written, and that's it.
yeah, exactly. You know, so that's what it is. But you play with the Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock. They want you to make it sound better. You know, they
Yes.
leave you the room to make it sound better.
Hmm. Tell me
So
about your work. Tell me about your work with Stevie Wonder.
oh, that was just a live show,
Hmm.
you know, for the Grammys,
Ah, I see.
and I was the one playing the bass, and that's what happened. You know, so he
Hmm.
came to play a tune, and I just follow the thing. I just play the tune, you know, whatever it was, play the bass line that was required to play, and that was about it.
Oh, that was okay. So no work, no collaboration or
No,
production or
not at all.
anything.
It was just a gig with him,
Hmm.
you know.
What about Al Jarreau?
Al Jarreau, there was a different. It was with Chick Corea. We did a gig. We played with him, and he was part of the band.
Hmm.
You had Gail Moran who was singing as well, but he was the one doing the stuff. So we did a few stuff with Chick Corea,
Hmm.
and they had that great. I don't know if I'm going to come out with the name. Vibe player was playing. Yeah, 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 yeah. anyway, so maybe I'll come back in a minute.
Sure.
But we toured, and that was killer. We're talking about a serious gig there.
Yeah.
With Al Jarreau, great player.
Yeah.
He would
Absolutely.
come and listen to me if I play or something. Very nice guy, adorable. It's a shame that we lost another one there. Yeah,
Certainly.
I love the guy. He was so nice.
Certainly.
Yes.
Wow. That's fantastic. Now, do you enjoy being the editor at large, a virtuoso?
Well, I'm not the one doing the job.
Ah,
So they put your name, but I'm not. I'm just giving some ideas on things like that. But I'm not the one doing the job.
uh-huh.
So it's just
So,
to
so,
mention
so
because
that's the
the problem they
distinction.
never mentioned the some people. It's just like
Hmm.
it's good. I wanted to have something to let people know about other people that are really important.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, so I'm going to name some other bass players who I think really transformed American music from taking the bass from behind the drum kit to really bringing them out front. I would think that somebody that would be notable is Larry Graham. Have you
Oh
had an
yeah, we're
opportunity to
talking
work with
about
Larry?
that's one of the most famous slapper from the beginning, Larry Graham.
Exactly.
Guy just introduced bass player to the slapping,
Yeah.
basically.
Just kind of transformed the language
Oh
for
yeah,
the bass guitar.
definitely, killer
Yeah.
player. That's the killer. I love him.
So you were very prominent though in the 70s, 1977, 78 when the bass synth, when the mode came out, what were bass players thinking when, music was kind of changing for more bass synth than
Well,
regular bass.
that was okay, but many times they would have the bass Moog or something, but then we use the bass player to make it.
To solidify.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's okay, So you can have some great compositions with the synthesizers. They
Yeah.
sound. So
Do you play any synth bass or you just stay at your
usually
guitar?
don't. Usually I play the bass.
Gotcha.
I just play the bass.
Yes, sir. Now, how would you describe your sound? Because people talk about, the Marcus Miller sound, or, I mean, everybody has that signature lick. How would you describe that bite that you're able to bring to your playing?
I just don't describe it. I just do it.
Do
I don't
But
have.
there's no pedal, there's no combination
No,
of
absolutely
amplifier.
not. It's the bass direct on the recording.
My man.
And what it is, just you have to realize that I decided because I was playing the Fender. I still have my original Fender
Mm,
Precision.
mm,
First, I added a pickup, kind of a bridge pickup to get the sound and all that. Then I took off the freits, put some bondo on the thing, and then I had somebody putting some finish on it, and I was playing the fretless. And then one day I decided, oh no, I want to design something. So I worked with somebody and I actually designed an instrument that was picked up by Gibson.
mhm.
There is a Bunny Brunel Gibson that came out, and it was just perfect. The
Wow.
shape that I designed with the longer horn, like the balance. It's funny because now it took forever for bass builder realizing that you have to make the horn to hold the bass longer in order to have a balance because the Fender you put it on and it goes down. So that's what I had my foot and all whatever. I was pulling very vertical and all that.
Right?
And so I designed it with a longer horn. Now all the bass design, they all have a longer horn
Mm,
that goes to the octave and all that to make the balance right. But that was the first one. Nobody had anything like it.
yes.
And after that, the guy that was at the head of the Gibson was not really doing a very good job for Gibson. So they end up changing the guy,
Mm,
and they stopped making my bass. So I went with. I was approached by the company that did my bass for a while uh, in San Diego. Oh, it's funny. You're getting older. You're losing name. Carvin.
Mm.
Carvin did my bass, and
Yeah.
they actually did a good job with the preamp, the pickup, and the outside shape of the bass. But they didn't want to do my design. You know,
Oh.
it was they didn't want to do the horn the way it was. They just, but at least the outside and the balance was right and the
Mhm.
sound was right. But after a while, I had to get out because I couldn't stand it. You
Yeah.
know, so it didn't look the right way.
Yeah.
But then I went with ESP. I was approached by ESP that did copied perfectly my Gibson,
Hmm.
and that's what I use. It's just like it is a four string.
Yes.
You see
Yes.
that's the four string. But unfortunately, these people were not really commercializing the thing right, so they stopped doing it. So
I
I'm
see.
going to have to go to. I'm going to the NAM show. I'm going to try to find somebody else who wants to do the Bunny Brunel. Maybe
Uh-huh.
I'll try again Gibson. Maybe they want to go back to what they were doing, but it was killer.
What about amplifiers?
Amplifier, I'm using Eden right now.
Hmm.
Eden, that's I can use any kind of amplifiers. The way the amplifier became because of the transistors instead of they all sound pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of having the right speakers and all that, and but they're all doing a good job. All the makers,
Hmm.
you know.
Now, I believe the first phone conversation that we had, I had to cut it short because Larry Dunn was giving you a call. Are you doing any work with Larry's orchestra?
Well, it's funny because I play some live gig in town,
Yeah.
and he usually come and play something. He plays a couple of tunes.
Yeah.
That's amazing, keyboard composer and
Absolutely.
amazing person. He's so nice. I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Let me
Very
show you the
genius, actually.
yeah.
Yeah. He's a genius, and Earth, Wind, and Fire would not have been Earth, Wind, and Fire
Yeah.
without him. You know. Absolutely.
All right. Here is the
Oh, that's fantastic. Beautiful. Is that the ESP as well?
the
The
ESP.
five string? Thank you for that.
But I'm gonna show you another one
Sure.
because you're a nice guy. So
Well, thank you. That's beautiful. Now, are those your handprints?
no, it's my daughter.
Oh, word up.
My
That's
daughter's
beautiful.
handprints everywhere.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What, you have that, you don't have that connected to an amp.
Not right now. No.
You should connect it and just hit one.
Yeah,
Im-
you need to have
impromptu.
it. You need to have that connected.
I think if you just connect it to your amplifier, I think we would be able to hear it. Yeah, uh-huh. That sounds good, man. That has some tone on it. I love that. That sounds fantastic. Absolutely. My man. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you wanted me to play, so
Yes, I did. Fantastic. Absolutely. So, what type of advice would you give? And you started out, the conversation by saying entre musicians need to have some initiative, and that's how you got your first gig with Chick Corea. You didn't just let things stand the way they were; you actually pursued it. But what other advice would you give young, up and coming entre musicians?
well, as I mentioned a little before, if you play the bass, you have to play the bass.
Mm.
You cannot just mess around and doing, thing. I see people they just like no. You gotta play the bass
Hmm.
and learn bass lines and things, and go play with some people to learn how to get the groove going. And that would be great if you learn how to sight read music.
Hmm. Yes,
And by the way, it's easier to sight read a bass line than a guitar part or a
that's true.
piano part.
That's true.
So you just practice like that. You can gig with people and all that. The most famous bass players are not the soloist one. You have Lee Sklar, for instance, talking somebody that with all those gigs that he does,
Yeah.
he doesn't play solo. He just plays the bass.
Hmm.
He can sight read music and all that. He's got the sound. He's got the timing. So that's what I tell people. It's just like if you want to be a musician, you're going to have to practice how to play with other people, read
Yeah.
music, and you know play the bass line, play the bass.
Yeah.
After that, when you can practice to solo and that's okay. But as a job, if you want that to be your job, you have to you definitely have to practice how to play the bass. That's the number one. That's what I tell people. Why do you think I had all those gigs with those people? Because I play the bass. You know,
Completely understood.
yeah. It's just like, and I still have problem with it because they hear me playing, they're afraid because, but I actually play the bass.
Hmm.
I made a lot of money in Paris before. You just recording sessions, just playing the bass.
Yes. That's good
You know,
advice.
because that's the thing. That's the gig. You gotta play the bass. You
Yes.
have to have a good sound and all that, and good timing,
Hmm.
and that's it. That's all you need to practice first. After that, then if you get into playing some solos, you play some solos.
Yeah.
But that's not where the money is.
That's
Money
good.
is playing the bass and being hired by other people.
That's great advice.
Uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm so very, very thankful the time that you've given us this evening and grateful. I hope that this won't be our last conversation. And I know that those who are watching and listening to this podcast have learned a lot. You've taken us down memory lane and talked about a lot of our heroes. So I really appreciate that you were in the zone with all of these great people and you helped to make this history that we honor so much. So
yeah,
thank
well,
you.
I was very fortunate to be able to play with these people. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You have to be at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
So and no, definitely, I really appreciate whatever I was gave, to do, and all those people, especially Chick Corea that got me out of the French box there. Yeah, because I would be just doing what I was doing there, playing at some
in
sessions.
in the box, huh?
Yeah, in the box. And now on top of it, they don't have all those recording sessions anymore
Mm,
because of the studio, people with the computers and all that.
sure.
So that business is gone.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So that's very important to understand. That if you can get some gigs with people, take it. because I mean the live gigs are the one right now that pays, because
Right.
people, even if they record all their album with the
Computer.
computers, whatever, they have to play live. They have to play.
That's correct.
They need musicians to play the stuff.
That's correct. So, where do you find? And I was going to wrap this up, but you pushed another question out of me because, you've really been a part of the recording industry when there were labels and tour support and whatnot, and you've done independent stuff with your own bands and whatnot. Where do you where do you find the state of the industry going? Is it just going to, because musicians are not making money on their recorded music.
Uh,
Uh, and as you pointed out, most of the paychecks come from the performances. But do you see a resurgence in the industry? Will it get to a point where people will want to pay for recorded music again?
yeah,
Where you can,
actually, yeah, because you can release singles and records without having to have the actual record.
without the label, of course, or without the
No,
record
no, I'm
company.
talking about. It's not even that. I'm talking about the physical CD.
Yes,
It's not as used to be something you had to have now you don't even need that. You can
that's true.
actually come out with recordings that you sell on the internet with
Sure.
a CD baby and all that.
Yeah,
I
sure.
actually have a single that I just got out, and it's it's out on a CD baby and all that, and people can buy and download it and
Hmm.
all that. And it's
Hmm.
with a great guitar player, Roman Mishlushenko, which is a
Mm.
fusion guy, very one of the top of the night, Russian guitar player that
Is that
does
right?
fusion, and that's that's the way things are done
Hmm.
nowadays. So you can release stuff like that, or you can do a CD if you want to. But there's a lot of things that people end up buying, downloading the thing.
Hmm.
A lot of some people they don't even have a CD player.
That's true. Absolutely. I
You know,
still have one because I'm an old man, but yeah.
that's what it is. Me too. I still have one because I'm an old man.
Right. My daughters don't, though. My daughters don't have CD players. I mean, everything's on their phone.
Yes, everything is on the phone, and it's just that's what happened.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what the thing came out to be. Everything is everything became download and upload and things.
Right.
People used to go there, to I used to go listen, records, you check stuff, that it used to be like that, but
Not anymore.
not
Not
not anymore,
anymore.
not anymore.
Yes,
So I
sir.
was trying to find a picture of it's just to show you
Hmm.
of the single. Do I have it somewhere here?
And it's your latest single?
Yes, just out.
Excellent. Excellent. And so it's how many pieces in the band? This is
It's,
you.
just wait for me just a few seconds,
Oh,
okay?
sure.
I'll
Absolutely.
show you the picture. You'll love it.
I'm sure.
Okay. Can you see it or not?
A little bit. There we go. Yeah, Fusion Holidays. Very cool.
Can you read the musician's name?
I can't read them. Those are too small, but I see Bunny Brunel nice and big. I can't
Okay.
see those guys.
Okay. You have that guy Roman Miroshnichenko on the guitar. You have Virgil Donati on drums.
Hmm.
Mahesh Balasuria on the keyboard, and I even did some tune with the Kelly Peoples who plays the flute.
Oh wow.
Okay,
I'm gonna make sure that I grab that.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
few
make sure.
holidays,
Yeah, well, I will do that.
Never know.
Absolutely. Well, I'm
Yeah,
so appreciative of your time, sir. Thank you for pouring into us. Thank you for being on our show. Thank you for all of the great music that you've done over the years that are just highlights of many of our lives. I know, I'm a young guy in the sense that when you're talking about 1975, I'm 10 years old, at that time, but so grateful because my uncle got me into jazz really, really early. So your name was always in the house on somebody's project. And I just really appreciate you, brother.
I just texted you the cover.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. So, yeah, thank you.
All right,
Very cool. You have a great night. Hey, brothers and sisters,
Yeah,
ma'am,
that's right for you.
sir.
Yeah, for you at night over there. It's like like 7:15 or something.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But we're just getting started. The night is still young. It's
Okay,
still
good.
young. But
It was
thank you for
very
your.
nice talking to you. You are so nice. You're fantastic.
Thank you, and likewise. And brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, this is the one and only Bunny Brunel, legend, ultra entre musician. My name is Jerry B. I am the entre musician, but most importantly, so are you. And we will see you next time.